Have you ever heard of a place where shadows live longer than their masters? Deep within an age-old forest, there lies a small village, isolated from the rest of the world. This is no ordinary village, but a place where an eerie tranquility prevails, and the nights are chillingly quiet. In this peculiar village, shadows behave in a manner that defies logic. These shadows, the dark echoes of our physical form, seem to take on a life of their own. They move independently of their human counterparts, as if guided by an unseen force. In some cases, these shadows persist, even when their masters have moved on from the mortal realm, as if they've somehow outlived them. Yet, the villagers, bound by a mix of fear and tradition, maintain a wary silence about this phenomenon. They believe that to speak of these shadows is to invite them closer. The villagers, bound by fear and tradition, dare not speak of the shadows, for they believe that to speak of them is to invite them closer. Strange incidents began to happen, unsettling the peace of the village. The tranquility of the village was abruptly disrupted by a series of unexplained events. The villagers started noticing peculiarities with their shadows, the faithful companions that had always been a benign part of their existence. Shadows were seen in places where their owners were not, creating an eerie atmosphere that sent chills down everyone's spine. During the night, when the moon was the only source of light, shadows began appearing out of nowhere. This was a phenomenon that defied the laws of nature, adding a layer of mystery to the already perplexing situation. The villagers would wake up in the middle of the night, only to see their shadows dancing on the walls, moving in ways they were not. It felt as if the shadows had a life of their own, a life they weren't sharing with their owners. The incidents took a chilling turn when one day, a villager's shadow mysteriously disappeared. This was old Tom, a man known for his jovial nature and his love for storytelling. His shadow, that had been with him since birth, had vanished into thin air. The villagers searched everywhere, lighting every corner, but old Tom's shadow was nowhere to be found. The village was steeped in a silence that was only broken by the wind whispering through the trees. The very next day, old Tom was found lifeless. The villagers were shocked and terrified. Could there be a connection between the disappearance of his shadow and his sudden death? Was it a coincidence, or was there a sinister force at work? The villagers didn't know, and that's what scared them the most. With each passing day, the villagers' fear grew, their sleep disturbed by the silent dance of their own shadows. The once peaceful village was now a place of fear and uncertainty, where even the shadows weren't what they seemed to be. The villagers were living in a nightmare, one they desperately hoped to wake up from. But the unsettling incidents continued, casting a dark shadow over the village of shadows. Desperate for answers, the villagers turned to their oldest and wisest. The elders, hoary with age but sharp of mind, were the keepers of the village's history and traditions. They were the bridge between the known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen. Thus they were the villagers' only hope in this time of unsettling fear. Driven by a dread of the encroaching shadows, the villagers sought counsel from these venerable figures. The elders, after much deliberation, suggested an ancient ritual, a forgotten ceremony that was said to appease the shadows of yore. In the heart of the village, under the watchful eyes of the moon, the ritual was performed. The villagers, their faces etched with hope and fear, watched as the elders chanted in a language long forgotten, their voices echoing through the silent night. The air was thick with anticipation, with the hope that this ancient rite would calm the restless shadows. But the shadows, they had other plans. Instead of receding, they seemed to grow stronger, bolder, more restless. The ritual that was meant to calm them appeared to have provoked them further. The darkness around the village seemed to thicken. The shadows danced with a newfound vigor, their movements more erratic, their presence more ominous than ever. The shadows grew more restless, their movements more erratic, their presence more ominous. And then one day, the sun rose, but the village remained in darkness. The shadows, like uninvited guests, refused to leave, casting an eternal twilight that blanketed the once lively settlement. A chilling silence echoed through the deserted streets, whispering tales of the unseen. The sun had lost its battle against the darkness, the village now a prisoner of its own shadows. What happened to the villagers? Did they ever escape the shadows, or are they forever trapped in their own eternal darkness?